so good to finally be back. I'm really sorry I haven't uploaded a video in quite a while. I had a little bit of some technical difficulties that it seemed like took forever to fix, but I finally got them fixed. So I am back. My lighting is hopefully better now. And we are going to do some makeup today. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a little mini tutorial on how I like to contour and highlight. Quick disclaimer, I do just want to quickly say I'm going to be using products that I currently call my favorite. Now my contouring and highlighting products, my skin products in general, change quite often just because my skin changes and I sometimes am more on the tan side. Sometimes I want my freckles to show, sometimes I don't. So my products kind of change depending on my mood or honestly the season. These are my current favorites. You can use whatever products you want. You do not have to use the exact same products that I'm using. But I am going to show you my favorites. I'm going to talk about why they're my favorites, and then you can make a decision to purchase them if you feel like they'll be a good match for you. Okay? I just don't want anyone thinking I'm like trying to say you have to buy high end or you have to buy this brand, because I'm all for drugstore products. I have a couple, a lower end and a drugstore product that I use every single day of my life that I'm going to talk about today. So don't feel like you have to go out and spend a bajillion dollars on a crazy bronzer or a crazy highlighter or whatever, because you don't, okay? You don't. So the first step in this whole process is to conceal the face. This is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I'm sure if you're a makeup lover, you've heard of this before. This is the shade Light to Vanilla. I just like to conceal the under eyes. You don't have to go totally crazy with this, but I do like to conceal a good amount. So I just touch it under the eyes, down the bridge of the nose, on the forehead, and then I also apply a touch to the chin. Then I just go around and kind of dot on anywhere that I notice I have a little issue or blemish. Then I'm going in with the Real Techniques Beauty Blender type sponge. This guy's my favorite for blending out any sort of liquid. I love this sponge. Dare I say even more than the Beauty Blender for liquid products. I'm sure some of you are going to be like, excuse me. Something about the texture of this sponge is a little bit softer than the Beauty Blender, and it gets a little bit bigger, but I like how it has this kind of like flat angled side and then a pointy side. I use this for my Oliver foundation, and I use the pointy side for my concealer, as you can see. Just really keep it around the eyes, and then I'll bring it down and around the nose, because as women, hormonally, we get redness around our nose. So for me anyways, if I don't conceal around my nose, then throughout the day I start to get red in this area. So we're just blending everything out. So now that we're all blended, we are going to bake the face or set the concealer with the Coty Airspun powder. I talked about this in my last favorites video, and it's still a favorite. I've been using it for a while. I'm using the shade Naturally Neutral. And all I do for this, guys, is I just put some of the powder, well, a good amount of the powder, in the lid, and then I just take a damp beauty blender for this part and get a good amount of powder on there, and then we're just going to touch that under the eyes. I also bring it up on the eyelids, and then I take it around the jaw and on the chin as well, because those are all areas that my foundation tends to fail me. So while I look crazy and that's setting my concealer, I'm going to go in and do my contouring. For my contouring today, I'm using the Stila Stay All Day Contouring Bronzer for Face and Body, and this is in the shade Medium. I love this because you get a humongo pan and you also get a really large mirror as well. I'm going to be using a MAC 168 brush. And what I do is I get a good amount of product on the brush and then tap off the excess. You don't want to go in too heavy when you're doing your contour, or else you'll just have kind of like a sharp, muddy brown line on your face. Better to go soft and then add than to apply too much and it be too harsh and there just be no going back. Now, one trick that you can do to make this process a little bit simpler for yourself is make like a fishy face. And it'll give you a very defined line on your face that you can follow when you're doing your contour. For me, for some reason, when I make that fishy face, it gives me an unevenness. Like one line is a little lower. So I try to avoid doing that, but for most people and for pretty much all of my clients, it works. So I don't know if I just have like a weird face or what. Maybe my fishy face is weird. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I am just going to basically start at the very top of the ear. Once I've kind of drawn that line, then what I do is I kind of do like upward circular motions just to get everything blended out. And you never want to blend down because that creates the illusion of a wider face. Alright, then you also want to do the corners of the forehead. If you have a very large forehead, you can take your contour all the way across the hairline. But since I have a pretty small forehead, I just like to even out the light by adding a little bit of depth right there. I also touch a bit to the chin. It's okay that you're going over that powder. Totally fine. Alright, so now that we have our bronzer on, we gotta wipe away this bake. So to do so, I'm going to be using a Sigma F80 flat kabuki brush and the Laura Geller Balance-n-Brighten foundation in the shade Porcelain. This is a powder foundation, obviously. And I don't put a lot, I just need enough to give me some brightness right there. I also like to touch a little bit of this powder around my nose, just to make sure that that foundation is nice and set right there. So the next thing that I like to do is go in with blush. I'm going to be using this SEPHORA MicroSmooth blush. This is the shade Guava Glow. This is that one that I showed you guys that has a little bit of a sheen to it. When I apply blush, I just touch a little bit to the apples of the cheeks first and foremost, and then I go back towards my contour because you really want everything to blend together. You don't just want to have like a big red circle right here. So again, less is more. You can always add additional product if needed, but you can't take any away. Nice and subtle, very natural looking, nothing too crazy. Now for the highlight of the day, we are going to go in with the BECCA Shimmering Skin Perfector. This is the shade Opal. This is kind of a nice golden shade. It is working for my skin tone right now because I'm a little darker than I normally am, but I'm not what I would call tan right now. So to apply this, what I'm first going to do is use the same beauty blender that I used to bake the face, the one that already has some powder on it, and use the other side of it and just kind of roll it around in that highlighter and pick up some of that product. And I'm just going to touch that right along the tops of the cheeks, basically along where our blush is applied, and then up also onto the temples. And then I'm also going to touch this onto the tip of the nose, down the bridge of the nose. We're going to blend that out, don't you worry. On the forehead and on the chin. Now, for the cheeks, we're going to go in with additional product. We're going to be using the Luxie 512 Small Contouring Brush, and we are going to dip it into the product and just tap that right over top of what we've already applied. Then going in with the Sigma F80, the one that we use to wipe off our bake. No additional product on this brush. We are just going to blend out the nose so it's not quite so intense, but we still have a nice little shine. Same thing with the forehead. You just kind of want it to be like peeking through that powder rather than like taking over the whole face. Then again, going in with that same MAC 187 brush that we used to apply our blush. No additional product. I'm just going to blend everything together so it's very seamless. And that is how I contour and I highlight. So I'm going to finish the rest of my face and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so the rest of my makeup is done. So basically I really just wanted to complete the look just so that you could really see once everything is done how much dimension contouring and highlighting gives the face. I am not one of those people, I do have some enlarged pores and I treat them and everything like that, but putting a lot of highlighter can tend to make me look very textured, which obviously we don't want. With that being said, this completes this tutorial. I hope that this is helpful. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. I would love to answer them for you. I have a few more videos I'm going to film today, so hopefully I'll not be so behind on my game and I'll get a couple of videos out in the next couple weeks or so. But this one's going out first. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you and I'll see you soon. Bye.